Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Well, we just got off a chit chat with the real Bobby Blotzer. I guess he's pushing for a reunion, which is, I mean, I guess you kind of figured he would, right? I mean, that's kind of money not going into his pocket, and I think it would generate a little bit of a demand. I think between the Motley thing, whether they decide to do anything next year, or whether it's Poison. I mean, I think they could go out with Poison as well.
Absolutely. Let Evil just go ahead and throw it out there and say all three of them. If you put all three on a big bill, you could probably play a pretty good sized joint, and you probably don't need any other bands, and you probably sell a lot of shit, a lot of merch, a lot of tickets. Just saying, play bigger places than you guys have played, individually in a long time. And, I mean, if Leopard and Crew can do it with all that, then why couldn't Rat, Crew, Poison, like you said, throw in? They used to have what's her name, Joan Jett or something opening, but you could throw somebody else out there, So, that would make me go see it. Just being straight, that would actually make my old ass get off the couch and find a way to say I got 3 or 4 or 3 great bands and maybe a solid opener. Then I'll find a way. I'll slog through a stadium or an arena to find my way to a seat and go check
would that
this
make
out.
Do you think that would make your brother go out and see it, or Aiken? I mean, Aiken doesn't leave to go anywhere, it seems like. I think he was talking about that gig they did with Slow Seth and the 2D leaguers, and I think he was going to go see the 2D leaguers later that night, and he fucking fell asleep.
Yeah, well, maybe though, as part of his new Active Aiken routine, he would give it a shot. But I think someone like Wendell, I could see him ending up in an arena or a stadium in Chicago area with Taylor and Sal or some people, and seeing this gigantic lineup of that nostalgia rock bands. And you probably could say at this point in time, for those guys, that might be the last run for a Crew or a Rat.
I think
those guys are getting old. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think you probably viewed some of the clips of this residency opening night. I mean, it just seems like there's no fucking pulse there. It's just really flat. Although I do think there is an improvement in the sense that John 5 isn't dressing like he's playing with Rob Zombie anymore. He's just basically got the black leather pants and I think a wife beater and a leather vest, right? A black vest. So, I mean, at least he looks like he's part of the band, not like this guy that just kind of is filling in or whatever.
Yeah. So, let's just go over, we have CMS notes, and I think some of the CMS notes will cover some of that, because they did discuss that. And I think I had some interesting takes on that too. I think they were a little bit different than theirs, but the first thing I should bring up on the CMS notes from last night was, real quick, before we get to the Crew, because the Crew's about 4th or 5th on my list here, but the first thing I thought was funny, they're afraid of assassins, Ruben. Did you
they did say, I know they said, now we got targets on our backs, and it's like, who even knows who you guys are?
That made me laugh so hard, dude.
and then remember what your brother said? We are the media now. It's like, yeah, right.
Like he's Walter Cronkite. We're all tuning in to see what Wendell's
too bad it's Chris that's doing all the interviews. He's just kind of sitting on his ass.
Yeah, and the only one who would be available to do any news, because let's be Wendell's too busy selling containers to be paying attention half the time. But I think Wendell, I just want to say this as your brother, your younger brother, my big bro, you'd probably be better served to be more worried about being carjacked on your drive into Chicago to work every day or the way home than having some loony come out of nowhere to put a target on you. Can sniper you at 250 yards off a building roof or something. That's just insanity, dude. You almost got popped in the parking lot of your work recently when the car was stolen if you had walked out the door. So That's much more likely, my friend, in the
Right.
areas that you're roaming. So that just made me laugh that they thought there would be a target on their backs. If there's a
And
target
did
on your
did
back,
you
it would
hear?
be because of the racist
Right.
statements.
And then Chris said, "I'm packing."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh boy, really? I mean,
Yeah.
he's a shove away from winding up in the curb.
And that's why he's saying that, is because they are probably at this point a little bit concerned. And this is also why they were so anti-cancel culture, because they don't want to be canceled themselves, because they've said some pretty inappropriate shit in the past, especially when it comes to racism, sexism, beating of women recently, things you just shouldn't say. So just going on. And we're not going to do politics here on the Wrap Up Show, ladies and gentlemen, but we will say this has been a rough week in American history. And Avel's going to my one statement on it's going to be pretty simple. And I think like 99% of you, maybe 98% of you could agree with me on this statement. I'm not religious, so I'm not into everything that Charlie Kirk was espousing. That's not Evil's bag at all. But public execution, public assassination is never appropriate. Murder is never appropriate. That's never. Now, this kid who just did that, him being executed in Utah, he signed it. He signed up for it. That's what he did. That's what the evidence proves, and that's when he goes through a trial and gets convicted and the whole process. But doing what he did, or whoever did this in public, to everyone you don't like because you don't like their words, that's never cool. That's never appropriate. That's disgusting.
Right.
It's just absolutely disgusting. So we'll just say that. And anyone that thinks otherwise, you're disgusting. Out there posting otherwise, you're disgusting. Even if you don't agree with him. I mean, I don't agree with a lot of the shit he was saying, but I still agree with his right to say it. He was out there with a microphone trying to get kids to think. Whether you like what he's getting them to think, then put a booth next to him and debate him, if that's what you feel. But you guys weren't doing that, and you're threatened because there was a lot of people showing up, and more people were showing, more young people were showing up. So, anyways, that's my only rant on that. We cannot go around shooting people because we don't like their words. That would be just completely idiotic, stupid. And the people that think that way should be locked up. I mean, that's just the way it is. So moving forward, though, then Neely goes on, though, in the show. This is the part that cracked me because we were discussing this in the chat. And I was throwing out situations in which this could happen, and I don't understand how he picks and chooses his battles. But he hates the Mexicans and their flags. He doesn't want to see the Mexican flag. Take your Mexican flag back across the border. And okay, hey, he's got a right to have that opinion, right? But when we apply
he doesn't
this
say
to real
that to
life,
them.
like I was telling you guys. Yeah, no, he would not. No, because the guys would be like, "What the fuck, man?" So, hey, I say, come over here. So, I'm just saying, he would never do that. But does he apply this to all aspects of his life? Does he sit down in the Chinese restaurant and go, "Well, this part of this menu's in Chinese, and there's a Chinese flag over there.
Yeah, you need to assimilate.
Take that back to China. You're out of here. You're out of here. You know.
Yeah.
To go on St. Patrick's Day, like they were discussing, and sit down like I've done in an Irish pub with the Irish flag, with the Irish music chants going, and drink the car bombs and get smashed and do all the things that they do in the Irish pub. Do you go, no, take your Irish flag and get out of your pub back to Ireland? Like, what sense does this make, dude?
I don't know.
I can understand if he has some particular take that he doesn't like them waving it out in public, but you see American flags out in public. You might see a guy wearing a soccer shirt with a Portuguese or a Spanish flag. Who cares? Who cares, dude?
Right.
Like
I think the thing that does bug me, and if he had said this, then I would agree with him. Somebody burning the flag, stomping on the flag, tearing the flag.
I just don't agree with that at all. Yeah. There's a lot. I would even say right now, whether that was the Mexican flag, the American flag, or this flag, the rainbow flag, the world flag they use for all those earthers, all that's inappropriate. Leave it alone, dude. I don't fly any of those flags. You might see a 49er flag flying in my living room because I'm a football fan. Don't topple that or burn that. I'd be pissed off about that too. So I'm just saying, again, just kind of like, it's just it's good talk on the radio, Neely. It's good shtick. But it's not real life. We know it's not something you're applying in any aspect of your life. You're not going around Chicago telling, put away the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
You sit down at a Mexican restaurant to have a cerveza, and there's soccer on the TV, and there's a Mexican flag over the bar, and you're like, no, get me out of here. Your enchiladas. Take that back across the border.
Right.
No, you sit down and you enjoy it as part of the culture, dude. Come on. That's what you're supposed to do. It's an opportunity to escape the white, corn-fed Midwest culture and maybe experience some culture that's worldly that a lot of us I enjoy going to do that stuff. So I don't know. He's crazy. So the last couple notes I have on CMS, because it really wasn't that good of a show. I
it keeps getting worse.
Um,
You
I
know.
was falling asleep on the couch, man. Just like
I was
don't know what
actually
I've got
waiting for
going
them
on
to
in the background.
recycle the Doro bit for the third time. You know, it's like, hey, do you know Doro has a song about, Warriors of the Sea? Oh my God.
Play it, Neely.
Yeah,
Put
let's
it
play
on.
it. Let's watch that again. There's a live
Let's
version
check that.
now.
Let's
Watch that.
Yeah. Did you know? How long ago was that video? 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah.
So they went on the Florentine Jameson thing on Aikens and Williams,
Right.
Seth Williams show. And,
Seth show.
you
Seth
know,
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, Seth yeah. And just gonna say, like, from the clips they played, not very funny. I mean, if the funniest parts were what Aiken played towards the end about them talking about Eddie Trunk, none of that was really that funny. And then the audio was kind of sketchy for an audio bay studio. Like, our audio here sounds better, and we're just in our bedrooms with microphones.
Right.
What are you guys doing? I don't know. It sounded like you guys were in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
That was weird. And then yeah, he was mobile Aiken, active Aiken. He got so mobile and active, he needed a nap, and he slept through the whole.
And then the image of those two D leaguers bookended by two baby elephants. You know, I mean, it was just kind of like a sight to see. I don't know.
It was strange. It was very strange.
Good for him, but I think they're grasping at this last ditch effort to kind of get famous. I mean, I think the Aiken's now bragging about this radio gig. What happened to the soccer podcast? I think that probably went away when somebody kind of probably did a little research and said, hey, this guy's talking about punching women in the face and shooting people and racist stuff about the blacks, now they'll have some ammunition about the Mexicans. I mean, it's just kind of like these guys don't know how to get out of their own way. They're idiots. And I'm sure this gig will go away too.
Yeah, and that's I think really if there was one message from us that we were been trying to say kind of all along was like, hey, you keep really painting yourself into a corner. You're really playing to a very, 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 very small niche minority segment now when you start throwing all these extra things in there. We're already in the metal and rock community, which is a small minority anyways, and then if you start throwing in racism, sexism, bigotry, all the things that they sometimes espouse. So and I keep saying it, just go back to music, guys. When you covered that old guy, who is that old guy they were talking about doing the songs that they were showing and played in some theater?
Something.
Something.
Al
whatever.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Al Stewart.
Even that was better. Yeah, Al Stewart. Even that's at least music related.
Yeah.
You're not giving me some chick on a
plane. But that went way too long. Like, that should have been a 5-minute thing. And the next thing you know, there's 45 minutes right there. It's 45 minutes on that.
Yeah, and they played that. They played that other band. It was 7, 16, 10.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
There was some weird.
Yeah, that's fucking
I don't know
awful.
what that was. Who
fucking generic British AOR shit.
Yeah, it was absolutely not memorable at all. I don't understand why that was getting some play.
Because
but they had the tech issues again.
Yeah. Always. That's like a week in, week out thing.
Yeah.
But I think that now, if they have the clamoring for emails, and there was one email. It was that guy. I think that guy that was nuzzling Neely's asshole.
Taint, yes.
Please play this video. And it's like, God, that was fucking awful. The last time he checked in, that song was awful. This one was equally as awful. But that's what this has evolved to. I mean, again, what kept the show going was the callers. The
interaction with people
Aussie
from
Ace,
the outside.
The Lou from the Lou. As racist as he was, at least there was some entertainment value.
Entertainment there.
Tim James, even if he was calling in twice or 3 times a show, at least he
sometimes that was funny
going.
To me personally.
Right.
Sometimes it was funny because like he already called in, and then they would be on another topic a half hour later, and you'd be like waiting because Tim James is going to call about this one too.
Especially if something Kiss or Motley came up or something.
Yeah. And so I enjoyed that, and he always had an outside take from there. A take that none of us might have because we're not in Australia, and that might just be a whole different viewpoint of what's going on. So. Which, by the way, we should probably all contact him here in the next few week or two, and we'll again. I'm pounding out some emails and messages, as you know, to different people trying to schedule things and figure out who can show up on what Sundays and do this with us. But that's someone else who should come back on at some point in time. So, but it's always funny to me that we have an IT guy on the show, and Neely's here in reverbs, and they're unplugging and replugging, and but somehow when it gets to the commercial at the end of the segment, it's. You can get your 10% off the Rumble Premium if you just order your. I mean, that always works for some reason. That's always okay.
I mean, Aiken is like the mechanic that has his car constantly breaking down. I mean, fuck. He is
apparently
funny,
taking a.
I mean, so that ashy fucking skin.
Yeah, and just. Like I said, dude, put the logo of something, put the Rumble logo up and just turn your camera off and leave that up or something. Just do something, dude. Us looking at you with missing the 2 teeth, the ashy, the bags under the eyes, unwashed hair, stumbling through the read anyways. It's really making it harder.
But wait, he said he took a shower. So that was the showered Aiken we saw.
Was that really, bro?
That's what, why,
really?
Maybe showered in sweat.
Was there a hairbrush taken to that post shower? I'm just saying, ladies.
Oh my God.
Too
much material there.
I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not trying to come on bash. We'll leave it at that. We've said enough. But the point is just find a way to make it more presentable is the point. I keep saying this. You guys not too far off if you fixed a few things, changed a few things from having a show that would be it wouldn't be as entertaining it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but it could still have some entertainment value and some laughs and some kicks, especially again. I mean, don't be afraid of having the Tim James, a Bob Leather voicemail. Don't be afraid. Some of these people probably would go to you right now. You're scaring them so much they won't come to you or us. So what the hell good are they then, Right. So, there's just things there that they could just tune up a little bit and it would be a more presentable show and probably a little bit more acceptable to a wider audience, which I know maybe they act like they're not for, but you guys always kind of make these moves that indicate you are for, i.e. cleaning up your voice to go on the radio, Aiken, i.e. doing commercials, i.e. now I got a paid thing for this. Well, then just go full bore and get somewhat cleaner and get it so it can be acceptable for a real radio station or another...
If you're Aiken and you're so well versed in IT, wouldn't you do an AI ad for whatever ads he's doing, record them, and then just put some animation or the logo up like you were saying? I mean, it's just kind of like it's not that difficult, especially for a guy like him.
Oh.
Who's
if I can do some of this shit on my phone that you guys see from us, then how can he not do it with all these Macs and all these computers?
Well, because he needs to order a phone for the app. Remember that the phone that he ordered that took like 9 months to arrive.
You had to, and then you had to have that. So
I don't know.
I'm just saying, dude, you can voice over the audio like a pre-recorded commercial with pre-recorded, well-read audio without your face, the logo up there or whatever, and then have the audio hit play and have it run for the 30-second or minute spot after the segment, and that's it. You don't need all this. So maybe they have some stipulation that has to be read live. I don't know. If that's the case, does it have to be on video?
Do you remember? Was it this week or last week where Aiken said something alluded to the fact that he'd like to get into voiceover?
Yeah, I heard him say something about that. I've also noticed the concern when he saw that Bruce Dickinson and the Pittsburgh Pirates were getting together because that was going to cost him money at his pinball place. So he was going to have to pay the power bill. He's going to make $3 on the machines. So clearly, money's at the top of the mind now for the Aiken Master.
But again, when you think back to that, though, the voiceovers, that's also AI generated. So why would you need a human to do that shit? I mean, right?
And even if you do, I actually knew a guy that did that a little bit from home before, but it's just a part-time gig. It's a few $100 a month. He would get here and there doing some reads, and then that was it. And then he had a really deep baritone, the movie guy voice. He talked like, go see the porn on Sunday. Well, and or he did a monster truck stuff before. He had a monster truck type of voice, so he could do that stuff. So, that's rare. That's like that in this day and age, that's becoming less and less and less, and it's not a gig. It's not a job. job. And so it just shows you he's trying to, which maybe that's how, and I'm not knocking. Maybe that's how he has to piecemeal shit. Totally cool, bro.
But does he?
But just
he
say
doesn't
that.
have that voice. Though. He doesn't have that voice
saying,
that
hey,
stands out for voiceovers.
No, and he's not able to read that well. I don't
No.
think a guy's going to sit on the other side of the machine while he's sitting there stumbling through. Okay, stop, start, stop, start, stop. I know that there's guys that will do that, but you know, my understanding, because I actually in junior college took a class on voiceovers and audio recording, these extra things. Those are early days of Pro Tools.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy very distinctly saying, if you give you something that should take us 30 minutes to an hour to read and get through, and I'm here for 2 hours, I'm not calling you back for the second session. So that just tells you you're taking too long to read this shit. I'm having to do much editing and too much fixing because you can't read. So, but anyway, that's, that seems to be constantly apparent, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to keep reading commercials. I just wish he would do the commercials. Just take the extra hour out of your day or week, bro, and edit the commercial and then play. You can play videos of all these other people screwing up everything. So why can't you hit play on a commercial that takes 1 minute and throws up the Rumble stuff? And then we'll get to the Motley Crue, which they got to with the residency. I was watching they had some rehearsal social media footage, and then I did see some songs from the actual show. And, where I differ from Wendell is Wendell goes, oh, yeah, that's just the album vocals just coming through the PA. Well, when Vince held that one note on the actual clip they played, and Vince hung a note there for a minute that's not on the album, bro. So how'd that work out for you? How are you? So I'm not saying Vince is completely singing. I'm saying that Vince has a live mic. Now, where they're adding in vocals with him and where it's only him, or my opinion, what I heard from the clip they were playing and the other clip that I saw on the internet, it's a lot of auto-tune.
Yeah.
There's a huge, a lot of effects and auto-tune going on his and the backgrounds, whether that's live or recorded, to mix them all together before they're coming into your ears. But to say Vince's mic wasn't live at all, I don't think that was true, because there was definitely, if you watch that clip again, when they released that segment, you'll see there's a note where Vince goes, and he did this hee-haw type thing that's not in the recording. That's not on the album. So I will say this for Vince. I think he's actually trying.
Yeah.
That's what I took from it. He was trying. He was trying to actually come in at the right spot, trying to spit out 60 to 75% of the words or more, which for Vince is going the right direction, because we were definitely trending the other direction with like 30% words and a lot of hemming and never coming in on the right time and all kinds of weird shit happening. So maybe this whole health scare, having to actually dedicate himself to physical fitness and working out to get his body back right, and then actually taking the time from that to actually putting into the craft of singing again, to actually find a way back on stage, because he realized, I'm gonna fucking lose my income and my livelihood if I don't. Hey, more power to him. Maybe that's what it took. Like D. Snyder is saying now, maybe it was a health scare that caused some of these guys to realize, I might not be here in 5 more years to do this, so let's do it now. I'm just saying, I didn't think it was bad. It still feels weird to me. It feels generic, because I feel like some of the bass tracks are probably boosted and fake and USB, and John 5 is still kind of jumping around a little bit. That makes me feel a little bit like, that's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. And then, I don't know. Tommy still seems to be playing well. Vince was trying. I do 100. I'm not saying they're live. I'm saying there's definitely some help on all. There's got to be a Pro Tools guy on the side of the stage, hit and play and get the things faded in, or however they do that these days. My band's live. I don't do all that stuff. So we leave the Pro Tools guys for Pro Tools guys in studios.
Why can't Don do this?
Clearly, Motley has a guy doing that. Money.
He's
I think
too
that's
cheap.
just the bottom line, right? I think that, I think that's what it boils down to. Motley has a big enough budget to pay for guys to make sure they sound as best as they could possibly sound for what they think they need to do. And Don doesn't even usually have a roadie. Yeah, my understanding. He's got these other guys.
He's got Troy Patrick Johnson O'Reilly.
There's I guess that's his now. Instead of Crenshaw or Neely, it's this guy helped leading the charge as an actual tour manager, and that might be needed. And I understand, Neely has said before, well, Don's got a sound guy. Well, if the sound guy keeps making him sound like shit, then why is he a sound guy?
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's the sound guy's fault. It could be the monitor guy's fault. Maybe they don't have a monitor guy. I don't know what it is, but you don't see that going on to that level with Crew or Def Leppard,
Mm-hmm.
or we can name the bands. I mean, even Slaughter. Go watch the videos of Slaughter
Mm-hmm.
getting on stage. They got a whole pre-recorded video intro. They come out and do their thing, and it
Mm-hmm.
comes out sounding good. I mean, as best as Mark can sound.
And then it's downhill from there. But at least
yeah,
you
but
know,
I'm just it's live. You're not feeling
Yeah.
like it's fake, and you don't feel like they don't feel like they're phoning it in, like they're don't give a shit about it. They're still putting on a show, and so I'm just saying, like, there's ways to go about this, and that's they have a far less of a budget, I would think, than Dawkins, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what the pay scale is for all these bands these days. I think some of that's bloated, by the way, when they mention that on the CMS sometimes by quite a few. Sometimes they're way off, like that one time when they were talking about the B-52s making, I don't know, 500,000 or whatever they were saying. I was like, that's not happening, dude. There's no chance. But anyways, with the Motley Crue thing, I just thought it was funny that in my take, it was, it still sounds fake, and it still sounds processed and Pro Tools and covered with auto-tune and effects and tracks and things to help beef up. For sure, when the choruses hit, you can hear background vocals that are not Nikki and Tommy or J5 over there belting it out. It's clearly the tracks from the album. So that is what you're going to get, though. If you go see bands basically of that level or higher, there's going to be, in my opinion, some audio assistance happening there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why, because there are bands out there that do it completely live. They're just willing to go with some silence or something that's subdued once in a while. And I think some of these other bands just want it to be so, and just like the album right in your face all the time that they just can't possibly handle. So that's pretty much what I had for the CMS notes. Everything else they covered is started getting, like I said, I was dozing off. I'm waking up trying to see if there's something to pay attention to. Not really anything to pay attention to. I did catch that they wrapped the show up early, which was good because it was boring. But maybe Aiken has finally taken our notes and saying, make it a 4-hour show.
Have you seen the last 2 weeks? Neely points out, wow, the show's just flown by. And you look at Chris's reaction, his facial expressions like, are you kidding me?
He's like, yeah, it's flown by, Neely.
Yeah, it's flown by.
Can we wrap up with one more segment?
Yeah. And that's what they've done the last few
Neely?
weeks is they've extended the last segment into just straight through like an hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes.
Just a lot of
just
shit
to get it over with.
Bases,
it's like flushing that toilet one more time. So
and they got the same 50 people, I'm sure, in the chat room. I flipped it on with the Rumble chat on my TV last night and saw the same old fucking names.
Was Shelly Rocks there might have been
one
the
new
British
guy.
winch?
Oh, absolutely. Shelly Rocks, Jackal One is in there.
Oh God.
I don't know, on and on, just a bunch of retread. So we'll move on though here on the wrap up show. As you can see behind me, we have the news break desk here, so we're gonna go over some rock and metal news that might be a little more entertaining, at least a little more informative, and some questions we might have that we're just gonna pose. Don't know if we'll get answers to, but we're gonna start with something I think me and Rue have been discussing a lot that seems kind of odd to us, but we mentioned earlier, Dee Snider says he had a health scare, and Twisted Sister is coming back next year, ladies and gentlemen. JJ French put out a post and said 20 to 25 shows for sure, festivals, some American, some European next year. And as a person who judges, and I do enjoy some Twisted Sister music, and I've never seen them before. They never come near me. Not one time in my life I think they've ever seen a Twisted Sister show in Northern California and Oregon that I was anywhere able to get. I mean, if they did it, maybe it was in LA or something. I don't know. But they don't seem to come up to our parts very often. And but so it is kind of one of those bands that's like on my list of like 5 or 10 that I'm like, man, I wish I could check them off and finally just say I saw them one time,
Right.
But they're going to be doing this without, in my opinion, one of the members that I thought was most, like he's one of the guys right there. I don't know, for some reason in the videos and stuff, he was always such a large part, like such a large presence. There he goes.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Mendoza.
So Mark has some questions, as you can see. Why can't I play bass in my band? Don't want to cut the loot 4 ways, gentlemen? I think he has a question there. So probably a very accurate point if you think about it, because, well, one, if Dee really had a health scare, why would he not want to do with as much of the original lineup as he possibly could? What would be the reason for
Do you remember way back when they had the behind the music and episode on that VH1, there was a portion there where Mendoza said something about he was gonna something to the effect about looking for D and he was gonna pull a gun on him or something. I mean, it was just kind of like, wow. I mean, it's one thing if you say, hey, you know, we're gonna go at it toe to toe, you know, and have a you know, an altercation in that manner, but that seemed a bit extreme to me. So I think Mendoza is somewhat of a hothead. And the only thing I can think of too, and I think we had this conversation too, was the fact that maybe I mean, clearly, and I think you pointed this out too, clearly D is a lefty. And you get that vibe from French too. AJ
100%.
It seems to be kind of like just the guy. I'll go with whatever. You know, I don't think he discusses anything in that area with any of these guys. But you get the feeling that Mendoza is not a lefty, and that's probably added a little bit more fuel to this rift that was probably already existing. And who knows? Maybe Mendoza is like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this again. You guys said we were done."
Okay, that's a lot to break down, but
Yeah.
okay. So number one, I think they called him the animal. My guess is for
a reason.
And,
He was in the Dictators. He was in the Dictators way back
and
when.
I just don't think you earned these nicknames without that having some, especially in New York, probably back in those days, without having some level of, you know, truth to it, you know. And he's a big guy. Look at the size of the motherfucker. He's on stage. He takes up a huge swath of stage because he's my size. He's a massive human being. So
he's got that Steven Seagal look.
Let's just put it like
the
this.
Hair. Yeah.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's a little bit weird, but he needs to relax on the diet job. And if actually, I've seen some video recently. I was flipping through some YouTube of Twisted Sister on their last reunion they did together. I think it was at the rock and roll thing where they were inducted or something. I think Eddie couldn't be there. Anyways, the point is, Mark's got this huge dreadlock. Just all his hair is one big dreadlock going down. It's really weird. It's like a massive rat's tail. I'll show you a picture at some point in time.
Okay.
I found it's
I
scary.
did meet him at a NAMM show, and he is short. He's not very tall.
He's big. Why?
He's big, but he's not very tall. I mean, I'm not very tall. I mean, I'm only...
Well, none of them are tall, I don't think.
Well, I think D is, but I'm like 5'11", right? And I was like, holy shit, that's Mendoza, because you could miss him because he had the Twisted Sister cut on his jean vest, you know, and you can't miss it. It's that TS highlighted in pink. And I was like, holy shit, that is him. Not very tall. I mean, he's got to be 5'5" or something.
But do you also get the impression, though, that he's like, you know, New
Connected?
York, maybe, you know, or, you know, like those guys in New York, if you fuck with their money and their business, they're going to get a gun.
I mean, that's what that's why I referenced. It's like, in no way, if I'm in a band with a guy, the first thing that pops into my mind is I'm going to go get, you know, my arsenal and I'm going to go after this guy. It'd be more like, yeah, we're going to have words. Well, if you're getting
on stage with Ted Nugent, you can expect there's probably a 9mm in his back pocket while he's playing guitar, because it's Ted Nugent and he's made it very clear he walks around armed 24/7. But no, I don't think D should be, you know, expecting. But again, Mendoza might be more New York street style and more hardcore. Who knows? My point is, I think right now, what I can say is, I do think that, well, you mentioned AJ earlier. AJ's dead. I think you're talking about Eddie Fingers.
Eddie. That's right.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But he doesn't.
He is fucking dead.
But on that note, I should say, though, I think there's like a little division there, in my opinion. I think there's like the JJ French D side that were more like liberal, Jewish, you know, businessmen, and then there you go, D Fingers, Mr. French.
That's right.
It's answered my calls. They're not picking up the phone for you, animal.
I'm just like, holy shit.
But I'm thinking, I'm wondering, do you think maybe AJ and Mendoza as the bass and drums were a little more like, not those ways, and then maybe Fingers is in the middle trying to go, hey guys, I just want to make money and play guitar. What the fuck are you talking about? I kind of just got from the documentaries I saw about the band, I just felt like there was teams going on, and usually D trying to pull his weight as the front man to get his way. And my only problem with D is that he's, as Tom Werman, as you interviewed him and found out, D's full of shit, dude. D's just full of shit. He just is. I mean, he just makes up shit to fucking cover his own ass, to fucking suit his current story. And I don't like that, dude. It just seems like it's like sketchy, and I don't know. I just don't. It just makes me feel like it's like, and I get the same vibe from JJ. There's a little sleazy businessman side to him.
He really does
like
have that.
I'd stab you in the back for a fucking $10 bill on the table right now, because that's just how I am, and I don't like that. So if I was Mendoza, maybe I would carry a gun and be like, "Where's my fucking share, motherfucker? I'm one quarter of Twisted Sister."
There you go.
So I'm just saying, and that could probably be the issue, ladies and gentlemen. It could be a political issue. It could be a business issue. It could be those three could have said, "Well, if we cut him out, that's more money for us three. And we only got to pay the drummer and bass player just old union fucking wages or whatever,
Right.
These bands do that, folks. When there's only so much money to go around, if there's an extra 10 grand that they can not pay Mendoza and split that between them, they probably would do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think that Fingers or French are in a position to say, no, let's not get together and make a couple $100,000 next year on a reunion tour. Especially when you live in an apartment, like if you watch Mr. French's videos, he makes it very clear he lives right in fucking New York City. I think it's pretty much in Manhattan somewhere. And like, dude, like his apartment's got to be a pretty penny to live in that place. And I think Fingers lives in New York State too. I think he's more upstate or something, but not cheap place to live. You got to have money to pay the bills, is my point. Your last reunion tour was how many years ago? So has that money slowly kind of drawn out now, and you're only getting the royalty checks and the occasional merch sales, and you're looking at it going, yeah, kind of need to fill up the coffers again. Let's reunite, right? D, you had a heart scare.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what the deal is there with D, though, because he's one of the few people that said, I'm leaving the country. And he really did. But I think he came back. But you would think it's like, if you want to live outside the country so badly, why don't you just stay there? Because he was living in Belize, I believe. And who knows? He may be still bouncing back and forth. But
yeah, might own a place there.
Yeah, maybe. But the money dried up.
At least, that's they start to realize the jet setting and their wife's lifestyle and the fucking car payments, and the kids got to go to college and whatever the fuck. There's shit that goes on, and then they realize, oh shit, that last reunion only lasted me 4 or 5 years of dough, and now I got to find a way to scrape back out there. And me going out as D Snyder, I'm only going to get this much, but if I got JJ and these guys, I get this much. Well, that's not a hard thing to figure out what I'm going to do. So I just think it's kind of a, for me, again, not going to be able to see it. They won't probably come anywhere near Oregon, not Northern California at all. They probably the best, if they came to the West Coast, would be LA or Vegas, and that'd be it.
Sure.
So it's just not, can I be honest? I just be straight. I don't think the Twisted Sister could sell enough tickets.
I don't think so.
That's why there's not a tour. They can't go. They cannot go even to like the Fox theaters and the Civics. I don't think that they would move enough tickets to warrant a fucking. We're stopping in San Francisco, L.A., San Diego, Portland, Seattle. I just don't think they can move enough tickets. I know JJ likes to go like, we're the biggest, most licensed band in the history. Yeah. But if you can't even pack a 3,000 or 4,000 seat theater, bro, then you're just a festival band, because all the other bands at the festival were drawing all these people, and so they're just throwing you on there as the retro name and giving you your payment. So, anyways, that's my take on Twisted Sister. Kind of sucks that Mendoza doesn't get to be a part of it. If that was his bread and butter too.
And really, for my
get a lawyer, bro.
I mean, you can't go wrong with the first two Twisted Sisters. You can't, Under the Blade and You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. I think after that, it gets kind of cheesy. And that's where their peak was Stay Hungry, but that record wasn't that great. I mean, I think those first two were the better ones.
I like Under the Blade. for some reason.
But
most
let
of
me
the
look
tracks,
here.
everything really rock around that.
So the Roseland Theater in Portland's 1,400. I was going to say 1,500. I think they're more of a Roseland Theater band, really. I mean,
15 to 2,000.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they can do
2,500.
much more than that. And
that's
you're
not going
right.
to pay them what they want. That's the.
Mhm.
It's not going to get JJ out of that Manhattan apartment to go to fucking Akron and play the Civic or whatever. You know?
And I think they're one of those bands too that's at that point where they can only do probably 60 minutes. Now D may be the one in the best shape, but JJ's not in the best shape. Mendoza's it was big, and I don't know he could do a 90-minute show. I don't know about the rest of the guys. I think they brought
Fingers.
back,
Fingers is pretty healthy.
yeah, he's pretty healthy,
shape,
but they brought
got
what's it, Joe Franco back, or what's his name? Is it?
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
They call him 7 because he was the 7th drummer.
Yeah, right.
That's how I know him.
But he was pretty good. I mean, he played on Love Is for Suckers.
I'm at least, I'm at least kind of glad that they kind of went back to a guy they had before in some period of their career that was retro, you know. And other than Perro, that would probably be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with them doing with Portnoy either, but Portnoy is clearly off with Dream Theater, and he ain't coming back to Twisted Sister for 20 shows.
No.
So not when he's doing 60 or 80 with Dream Theater. So, anyways, I just, one of those things, probably can never check it off the list. Now there's no Mendoza, probably won't check it off the list. Probably better off to do what you did, which go find a con and say, hi, Fingers, can you sign my shit?
Sign my shit,
buy some hot sauce from you.
Yeah, which was pretty good. I mean, that hot sauce that I bought from him, he's a nice guy.
Some of these guys got good shit to go in your fucking tacos and burritos, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Unlike the Joe Perry. I think the Joe Perry was probably just shit that they slapped a label on. I think with Fingers, he actually had a hand in it.
That one.
Yeah, because he sounded like he actually worked on the concoctions and stuff, or the potions.
Yeah, the potions that they were making.
But
I have had people tell me, I haven't tried it, but people have told me that Matt Anthony really is the shit, though. I should probably order up some Michael Anthony sauce. I've had multiple people say, no, that's like actually some really good shit.
And he's another one that seems to have been really into the process of making this stuff versus...
He's actually going to use it on his own shit. That's the guy you want.
Yeah, you watch those videos, and the guy's like using like the barbecue rub that he makes, or put his name on, and then the hot sauce.
Raise your